Alright, hi, this is Will, and we're going to start a series of videos on how to use the HMI software. And we use Wonderware, and we really like it. It works with all our PLCs. This is the little icon. I'm going to fire up the system. We have it, we can use it with all our PLCs, the Click PLCs, Siemens, Allen Bradley. We even use it for other, let's see, this thing, we're okay with that. We use it even for some of our other, we have a barcode scanner that we use it with. It's just a regular serial interface, simple transmit receive. So this is the screen when you first start up. Now be aware that when you first start up, it's going to be in the last program that you were running. Now typically, and I have it set up so this would be like yours. If you run brand new, you're going to have this PC demo app, and this is what default comes back from it. And if you look on the screens, it's got a ton of screens, a ton of examples. The one thing is, to be sure, you can look through the demo, but you do not want to be creating your project. You want to get out of this one, to be sure. So you can go in here and say I want a new program, and I am just going to put this, I guess, on my desktop. And I'm using one of our workstations, so I'm not even sure where it was pointing before. We'll call this NSF Demo. Well, NSF Wonderware Demo. Okay, and generally leave all the defaults as is. Now here it comes up with this. This is the size of the screen I'm working with. It's a pretty big screen. And just leave the defaults, but bear in mind if you're, making the program on a workstation like this, it's going to be very large. And if your end user is going to be a tablet, it's not going to be scaled correctly. Now you can scale it after the fact, but it's kind of problematic. So here we don't have any screens, we don't have anything. So we just highlight the screens, right click it and say insert. And we're going to call this main. Now I'm also going to call for the runtime properties, I'm going to call that main. Not quite sure why you need that, but they show it in the videos. So when we're in the edit mode, we get this grid, and that just helps us place items so they're, aligned and all that. Now, when you're making the screens, and here's your project tree, but really, when you're doing this, you need to be down here in these tabs. There's 2 of them, and we're only going to talk about 2 for right now, but when you're in graphics, here's where you put everything that's going to be on your HMI screen. Everything that appears is pretty much going to be put on here from the graphics. You can put lines, rectangles, text, and then you can, some smart messages are pretty cool. You can pick symbols that they have in their library. When you have something down here, you can add animations. We'll show that later, but that's a really useful feature. So now that I have my screen, the first thing I'm going to do is put in some text. And now I have it highlighted, so now we're in text mode. And I think I'll just call this main screen. And right now when it's highlighted, I can right click, and again it's right click to get to the properties. So right now all I'm going to do is make it bolder and a lot bigger. So that's alright. Now, the only other thing I'm going to do down here is I want to be, it's graphics down here, but I want to make sure that I'm graphics up here. The home has a couple things, but graphics is where we really put down everything that's going to be on the screen. Besides putting down the main screen first, the other first thing is highlight the button, and then we're in button mode, so we can put whatever size button wherever we want. So I'm going to make maybe that size button. Now I'm going to highlight it, I'm going to change it and call it exit. And this button, what it's going to do And I'm going to change the font, make it bigger, and I'm going to change it so it's red. What this button does is it changes you from when we're in edit mode and we want to go to run mode, that'll get us into what the HMI screen actually looks like. But somehow we need to get back, and that's what this exit button does. It'll get us back into the edit mode from the run mode. Because when we put those parameters that said the width and the height were as big as our screen, when we go into the run mode, it's going to cover the whole screen. And while there are ways to get back to the edit mode, this exit button is the best one. So to do that, to actually get it from run to exit, we have to double click on here, and there's this command, and we got to use the command. Got to give it a command that says we want to go back to the edit mode. And they have some functions in this VB script. The one we want is $shutdown. And that's it. And then we put open and close parenthesis, and that's all we need. So now we've got our main screen, we've got our exit button. The last thing we're going to do, and about the only thing we're going to do for this video, is we're going to save the screen. So right now it's called screen 1, but if we X out, it'll ask us, do you want to save it? And yeah, we do. And we're going to call it main. And so now it kind of disappears, but really we have it in this pull down. So now we can pull it back up. And now if we go into run mode, you'll see what the screen looks like. And this is what the HMI will look like. And when we use exit, we'll get back to the edit screen. Now I'm actually going to push this more into the corner. And when we talk about these buttons, let me just say one more item on it. So when we go into these, we went into the VB script command. But you can also make it open a screen. And we'll probably show a button that opens up a screen later. But you can also use it to set tags, reset tags. There's some of this built-in language, and you can reset multiple tags with just pressing a button. So it's pretty useful. So let's just take one more look here. We're in the run mode, and we've got our main screen, we've got our exit. That allows us to go back. So now what we want to do is we want to take a look, and that's all we're going to do for the screen right now. We want to take a look at the comms. Now the comms is what's going to tie into our PLC. And let me just show you, we have a little program that we're going to start with, and it's our demo program. And this is for the Click PLC. Now we've got our regular system start, stop, reset, and that's the push buttons, the green, red, blue push buttons on our control panel. And now we're going to add start and stop from the HMI. And for this program, we'll be running through some of the first few sequences or videos. All we're doing is we're starting it up, and we have these timers that go back and forth, alternate. And then when they get to a certain count, they say count complete, and that's more or less end of cycle. We can reset if we want, but that's what we're going to do. And we have to tie the Wonderware into this. Now, I want to show this because we have all these, we have inputs are X, the outputs are Y, the internal memory bit is C1. But our driver that we need to use with Wonderware is going to be, and let me pull it up here. So if we right click on that, we want to add remove drivers. What we have here is a TCP or a Modbus TCP interface. And you can see they have all these Allen Bradley interfaces. The Allen Bradley SIP is kind of the one that you'd usually would use this one right here. But we want to go down, and we have Modbus protocol, and it's via TCP IP or Ethernet. So we select that. We're okay. We don't need to do anything else. So now, just like when we were with the screens, we've got the pull down, and now it says that it's the TCP, Modbus, and now we have this main driver sheet. Now here is where we have tag names. Station we'll explain later, but I wanted to show this I/O address. Now, when we went into the Click PLC, and you can see we have HMI start and HMI stop. And those, you say, oh, well, the address is C1 and C2. No, it's Modbus. And so what we need, well, let me first say, you can go in the help, because we're in these drivers, you can go into the help and communication drivers. And when you go in here, we're still in mod TCP. So we can go in here, and this is like the interface control drawing for the communication between the PLC and the Wonderware. And they have this for all the interfaces. This is really helpful. What we're going to do is, well, let me show you what an address actually looks like. And this has all the setup. But you can go in here and you see how it says like 1X. Well, let me try to blow this up if I can. Okay, so you can see there's a tag name. The station name is just the IP address, and 502 is the standard Modbus. This last one is a station number if you have several PLCs. But the I/O address, instead of seeing C1, it's 0x:1:2. They also have these 4x:1001 and 3x:201. But if we look at the top here, give a little description. So, when it says 0x, it's a coil status. And you can either write, read, and it's a bit. The 3x and 4x are actual words. So we have bits and words. And typically, even if we're just reading it, we still want to read and write. So just like in that example, we're going to put 0x:, and then what the address is. And when we're reading a register, we're going to use 4x, because that'll give us both the read and write functions. So, when we go back here, you know, we'll have the 0x:, here. But when we go into the Click programming, and this is another great feature with the Click, so it's C1, C2 is some of the interfaces that we're going to be looking at. If we go into the address picker, and here's our C1, C2, down here, let me expand this. This says Display Modbus Address. So we'll click that, and it's not C1 or C2. The addresses we need, and the addresses we need here are going to be C1 is actually, the Modbus address is 16.385, and C2 is 16.386. So when we go in here and we eventually get to it, if this is the start, the thing we're going to put in here is 0x.16.385. You know, it might seem complicated at the beginning, but the Click programming, because it can just pop up what all the Modbus addresses are, you know, it makes it really easy. All you have to do is figure out where your signals are and just use that address. So, I think that's about all that we wanted to show for this one. You know, the main things that we have. I can get rid of this guy. And we'll save changes even though there's nothing there. You know, we have this graphics, which we can make our screen, and we're going to put those actual start and stop buttons next time. And we'll put some lights that'll show that we're communicating. And then you have this COM. You set it up with the Modbus TCP. And as I'm talking about the Ethernet, I suppose we should do a video on the serial interface, which, you know, we never use serial, we always use the Ethernet, but we might want to do that and probably have video on that. But those are the setups. What you need for Wonderware is the graphics, The graphics here is going to be what the screen looks like, and then the COM just marries the PLC onto the Wonderware. It's a really good scheme, and like anything else, it takes a little getting used to, but it's well worth it. Because it's educational and it's free, when you get into there, they have a lot of training videos. If you want to know really in-depth how to use it, you need those training videos. They're great. So anyway, that's the introductory for this, and next time out we'll put the start, stop, put a couple lights on here, and you can watch the Wonderware talking to the Click PLC. Okay, we'll see you next time.